Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Visser. I spent my whole life in the pursuit of health, well being, and longevity. In this podcast, I will take you on a journey through the wilderness of scientific research and experiential knowledge. Together, we will clear a path towards optimal health, well being, and longevity. Welcome to the Visser Podcast. This is episode number 5, and we're going to talk about nutrition and longevity. How those two are connected, what can we do about it, and how do we manage this the best way possible. Like a good Pinot Noir, for you red wine fans, that needs to stress from its environment to become a great red wine. And this includes the resveratrol and the polyphenols it produces. We humans need to create perceived adversity for our bodies to take advantage of our innate regenerative, curative, and immune powers that lie within us. And I'm going to explain. Based on the research we know now, creating perceived adversity, if we look at our ancestors, they had real adversity, gatherers, hunters. And our genetics are still made up of that. If we are able to introduce the perceived stress, the correct stress, our body then is able to activate our immune system, activate our gut biome, activate different compounds that keep us alive longer, that protect us, that protect our health and longevity. Because in nature, that's what makes us go. So the old saying, no pain, no gain, is back, but in a different way, And we're seeing now that in the research, starting from the 1930s, calorie restrictive diets have shown to benefit longevity in animals, in people, etc. So one of the things that I think we know, and diet is one of these topics that I'm not too fond of because it changes so much. High fat diet, low fat diet, low carb, high carb, what kind of carb, paleo diet, vegetarian, vegan, plant-based, carnivore, man, it goes on and on and on and on, all these fat diets. So really, we're gonna dive into stuff that really counts. And then you can pick your diet and match it. Figure out how to do it, okay? Because that's the key, we're all different. Even our biome is different. So we're gonna have to really do some work to personalize it. There's no one size fits all, period. So you're gonna have to do the work. I'm gonna give you the basis for that work. What's the basis that you have to get right? Okay, here we go. So we're looking at eliminating sugars, simple carbs, processed foods. Not something you haven't heard before, okay? So if once a week you wanna break, and you want to have a vacation and go for it, okay? But most of the time, keep it tight. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Resistance training, a huge one. The more you age, the more you need it, okay? So, there's this stuff about I'm afraid to get too big. Dude, come on, get over it. You're never gonna get too big, okay? I trained 40 years every single day. I'm not too big, so stop it. All right, cardio training, extreme heat and cold therapies. This comes from ancient China, and we're gonna talk about it in later episodes, why it's so beneficial. Neuroplasticity, confronting our fears and managing our stress. How do we do that? The list goes on. self-induced stressors to make us healthier. Now, there's other self-induced stressors like bad food, like chemicals, like antibiotics, like NSAIDs, like acid pills, like the stress of work, traffic, too much on the internet, too much on your phone, etc. These are not good stressors. These just basically kill. We're looking at stressors that we need, and it's based on our past, it's based on where we come from, and it's based on research on how our body reacts to these stressors. So we found good ones. And let me tell you, we need these stressors because things come too easy. Food comes to us. Plenty food comes to us. All you can eat food comes to us. And sedentary lifestyle. We sit, watch TV. Everything is made so we don't have to move. Guess what happens? We die. If you don't move, you die. If you eat yourself to death, you die. Okay? So these are the easy things. So we have to create these stressors so our bodies can actually activate these hormones and make us live longer, live healthier, and be vital. So we have to bring in these stressors. Okay, like the previous episodes, I've discussed the gut biome and how it affects digestion, immunity, autoimmune disease, anxiety, depression, amongst many other things. Okay, so we all have a unique microbiome, every one of us. So it would be really behoove you to see how foods affects your insulin and blood glucose levels. Okay. And I'll bring up the example again, the twins, the big twin study that got done from England, where, two of the girls, and I've brought this up a couple times in different episodes, but I'll bring it up again just to showcase how we are all different. Twins, identical twins. They drink Prosecco. One has a steady level blood glucose, the other one spikes like crazy. And her whole body changes and everything changes and she goes towards diabetes. Okay, so we react differently. So we have to find out how we react. What's our microbiome made of and how do we react to it? So there's things we can do. Monitoring your blood glucose with companies like Levels.inc. This is an example. You need a basis of nutrition because we don't always get the right foods, especially if you're gonna do intermittent fasting, and you might not get all your macros, you might not get all the perfect vitamins. So it's good to have a backup. And the backup that I use is Athletic Greens, AG1. It's great because it gives you the prebiotics, it gives you super greens, it gives you everything you kind of need to, in small portions, to back everything up that you do. The other thing that I really think, if you can, to do is Inside Tracker. It's a blood and DNA analysis. It is important that we not only do blood, but also DNA, because these are the biomarkers that we can figure out and say, listen, this is gonna be your susceptibility later on in life. This is in your family. Alzheimer's is a thing that's gonna come. What do you do about it now? Parkinson's could be something that's coming. The different autoimmune diseases, maybe heart disease, maybe you have a natural tendency to build up cholesterol and build up plaque in your arteries. So these are the things we need to know so that we can preemptively act, change our lifestyle, change our diet specifically to counteract these. So why is, I'm talking about fasting, and I know fasting is now like a thing, but it's an old thing. Fasting has been done by all the religions, starting in India, with the Catholic religion has it, the Muslim religion has it, you name it, they all have it. And they're there for a reason. Keeps populations healthy. And so now that we get to know, we're doing research on it, we get to know more and more, we're seeing, the benefits on our health of this. So in creating the most optimum way to use this type of fasting, we've come up with this 16-8. So 16 hours of, no eating, just water, tea, coffee, no sugar. You can do your vitamins, that's fine. And then you have 8 hours of where you can eat. So you can easily fit 2 meals in there, not too much snacking. I like the 2 meal thing because I think you need to get your macros in one meal. Some people go OMAD, only 1 meal a day, but it challenges you too much, and it's you don't I'm afraid to not get all my macros in there. Okay, and we'll talk about that. So I like the more relaxed 16/8, and it's doable. It's totally doable. And you know how you do it? You start. And what you do is you either do it in the morning, so you skip breakfast and you go to a 2 o'clock lunch or a 1 o'clock lunch, and then you have your dinner, early dinner. That's it. Okay? And while you're waiting to do your lunch, drink liquids, drink a lot of water, do your tea, do your coffee, whatever you need. Okay? Don't do too much of coffee, but drink your waters. It'll keep you full, it'll keep you feeling full. After a couple of weeks, you won't know what else to do. I mean, it's going to be easy peasy. So really focusing on that. I'm going to tell you why. Not as a diet. We're still going to talk about diets. We're still going to talk about, what's the best diet or what diet is good for you. But this you should do, bar none. The benefits are, one, controlling and keeping your insulin levels and insulin growth factors low. And most people have been going crazy about this intermittent fasting for weight loss. Well, there's much more than that. Okay, there's also just weight management. It's not just about weight loss, but it activates the 7 longevity genes called sirtuins. So especially sirtuin 1. Glucose is tethered to sirtuins. Okay, so basically, in short, what these cells do, what this does, the sirtuins, your cells need to rest to establish the epigenome and to actually give your body a chance to repair the DNA, because you have DNA degradation. So low levels of glucose is good for the health and longevity and turns these defensive genes on. This is one. mTOR is another that's downregulated. And it's really activated by amino acids leucine, isoleucine, and valine, which need to keep mTOR, so we need to kind of keep mTOR down. Now, here is where, I'm gonna get in trouble, because leucine is known, we need it to build muscle, and we need it for power, we need it in the gym, etc. Yeah, but we need to basically manage it. Too much, not good. So we need to manage it for longevity. We need to say, okay, listen, are my immediate gains more important than my long-term gains? And we're going to talk more about that, because this is all really a matter of tuning, and how you tune it can make all the difference in the world. So the first tuning we're doing is right here. So one of the things that we need to do is, we're going to see this, is we're going to have to pulsate into this. We're going to have to come and go with this. So mTOR is one that needs to go down. AMPK is one that needs to go up. Why? Because this causes the mitochondria to make more energy. So it makes more mitochondria. Mitochondrial cells, as we know, basically produce the ATP and NADH that we need for energy in our cells, so that our body can run itself, or we can run our bodies. And so this is important. These are the 3 main things that happen when we do this fasting. So if we can do this every day, we're basically introducing this, self-made stress to our body, so that, like a fine wine, our body can produce what we need to keep us alive, healthier, and longer. So when we look at what you're doing now, which is being fed all day, this is what happens. It doesn't turn on the epigenome. It degrades faster. Your DNA doesn't get repaired, so you age faster. You go into a state of disease faster. You get more inflammation in your body. And the list goes on. So really, the intermittent fasting is key to longevity and health. It's one of the key factors in there. And I'm going to give you one that is extra, that ups it even more. I would say twice a year, if you really, yeah, twice a year. Do a 4-day fast, 4-day complete fast, no food. So, what does this do? It's a big reset. All right. When you go past 3 days, you activate the chaperone autophagy system. Okay. This clears out all the old protein, it clears out the dead protein. The body basically cleans itself. We need this. We need this. Some of the research I can find by Ana Maria Cuervo at Einstein University. I believe she's the one that really is focused on this. And it's an amazing mechanism that we could use. Once or twice a year, hit it. It's hard, not easy. This is water, tea, coffee, that's it. 4 days. You're not gonna die. And again, I have to say, if you have a disease, if you're, extremely diabetic, etc., talk to your physician, see if you can do this, see if this is available for you. Always talk to your physician about it. But if you can do it, if you get a health check and you say, it's a go, I'm able to do this, and it's one of the best things you can do. So it's not much to ask, once or twice a year, preferably twice a year. Okay, so when we look at the 16-8 protocol, we can either do without breakfast or do without dinner. It gives you better focus during the whole day. I mean, the benefits are, and I'm gonna put a list together in a second. So we already know what we need to do for the microbiome. Now we're looking at what we need to do for fasting, independent on what for diet we prefer. I mean, are you vegetarian? Are you plant-based? Doesn't matter, okay? If you're vegetarian or you're plant-based or you're any of these, make sure you do get enough protein. Make sure you have a whey protein that you're supplementing with, and make sure that you're actually, supplementing. And, some of the supplements that you really gotta kind of look at are some of the vitamins. So I want you to supplement with B12, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, a little bit of iron. Iron is, we need it, but I don't like it. Zinc, calcium, selenium. So you need to have that, and you need to have your protein up. So these are for the vegetarians, the plant-based guys. If you're not doing any fish or anything else, we need the polyphenols, the omega-3 we need in there. We need some good protein in there. So this is important because as we'll see, one of the keys in aging is strength and muscle mass. Key in longevity, bar none. But we're not going to talk about it right now. We're talking right now about how you can eat best to keep, what role does nutrition play, and how can it play a bigger role? So one of the things I think that we're also looking at is some of the things we can add as options. And there's quite a bit of research on resveratrol. That's the red wine that protects against high-fat diets. It comes from the skin of red wines. There's supplements that you can supplement with. It's shown to help us with longevity. The other one is the diabetic medicine actually that they use is metformin. Now, it mimics fasting, so it lowers the blood sugar, helps longevity. And I would suggest, if you're gonna go on this, absolutely consult your physician about it, but do it when you're not training. Do it on your rest days. With resveratrol, I would do it every other day, because the research I've seen so far has shown that every other day is more effective if you want to do it. These are all options that you can add to what you're already doing with your diet. And the other one is rapamycin. It's a drug used for, after organ donation, kidney donation, so you don't, reject the organ. And it's shown really in the studies to be very promising in longevity. Now, this is a prescription drug, and you need to talk to your physician about it. See, these are things that are out there that you see people using that can be helpful, but really consult your physician about it. Do a little bit of research about it, and go to it. So, when we look at what we need to do, um, we need to eat less, and we need to eat less often. This has the highest impact on longevity if we're talking about food intake. And it's not, the eat less often is more important than eat less, believe it or not. And I know I'm cringing, but it's true. Okay, so I don't want you, once you start, you're going to see here, and you're going to find your rhythm, but once you start on the 16-8, initially, when you get the food, you're gonna like hoard it because you're hungry and your mind's telling you, "Oh my God, this is impossible. You can't not skip breakfast, or you can't skip dinner, or this is too long." This is all the voice in your head. Say thank you very much for your opinion, but goodbye. All right. So don't listen to it. It is what we've heard our whole lives. It is what we've known our whole lives. It is what we've been taught. So we kind of gotta release ourselves from that information. That's tough because your mind just keeps bringing it back up and say, doesn't sound right. This doesn't feel right. All the markers. Well, listen, this is how you create good wine. This is how we bring our body into longevity. So just do it. So when we look at the only things you need to really cut out are the sugars in your diet, the simple carbs, and that's to avoid, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease. And we know that. We all know that. Okay? You need to up your fiber. All right? So look at foods with fiber, up that, because that's good for what? Yes, microbiome. Introduce some fermented foods. Why? Because it diversifies your microbiome, which is absolutely good for you. So when we look at when we look at the plant-based diets, great. We look at the Mediterranean diet, super. Polyphenols are in there. The Mediterranean diet keeps coming up as a very good diet. Now they've looked at all-cause mortality, ACM, right? And they've come up with the best diet, all-cause mortality. And that's, if you are on this diet, what are the chances that you would die? And this seems to be the one. And it's the Pisco vegetarian, which is vegetarian but with fish. And that's, the omega-3s and the protein and everything that brings in there. So that's one. But I mean, really to do weight management and everything, it's what you feel comfortable with. So you're gonna have to try what your body accepts, what your body likes. That's what you're gonna have to keep trying. But the rules are still, do the intermittent fasting, do the fast twice a year, stay away from the usual suspects as much as possible. One day out of the week, you blow it up, doesn't matter. Don't go too crazy, but just, go on a little vacation once a week. It's good. It's good for your mind. It helps you. It kind of, anyone can do a week, So 1, keep our gut biome healthy. Increase fiber, introduce fermented foods. 2, 16-8 intermittent fasting. 2 times a year, 4 days of fasting to activate the chaperone autophagy and do the bad protein cleanup. Eliminate sugars and simple carbs from the diet. Boom, simple. The other ones is monitor your glucose levels to figure out how you react to certain foods. And this one of the companies is Levels.inc. Take supplements like AG1 to cover your bases. So you need something every day that you take in to cover your bases, just in case you don't get to enough vegetables, enough, fiber, enough super greens, enough whatever that your body needs. So have that as a little buffer. Do the blood work and the DNA analysis. And this company's like Inside Tracker. This is where your base is. We're gonna have to measure. We're gonna have to know where we're starting. We're gonna have to know how we're doing and where we're going and what needs to be changed. What do we need to push? What levers do we need to pull to get our bodies on the right track. So, optional additions include metformin, resveratrol, and rapamycin. So these are, and rapamycin I put last because it's a, you know, it's more of a, you got to really figure out the doses. You got to go with your physician, and the other two you can get off at a, health food store. But this is if you want to go a bit further with this. So stress our bodies artificially to activate our immune system, our energy, and our mind to keep us healthy, vital, and live a long life. And we're going to talk, we're going to go to the rest of them, but I wanted to really cover nutrition. I might do one more on nutrition, and then we're going to go into exercise, and then we're going to go into the mind. Those are going to be long sessions. But really, with the nutrition, keep it at this. I mean, they say average 2,500 kilocalories for a man, 2,000 for a woman. This is average. No one's average. So you really need to work with a nutritionist to a certain extent, work with your physician, and really figure out, with the help of these companies that or companies like them, and really start figuring out what works for you, because that's what matters. It matters that you can change your environment, change your habits, of course, have a good social structure, exercise, of course, but really look at what you could do. Make your diet and the restriction in your diet something that you can live with permanently. If you're doing something that is too extreme and you're just, fighting yourself daily, it's not going to work. You need to be able to stick with it for the rest of your life. And that's the key. That's what we've also found in the studies, is that the people that lost weight and kept their weight off are people that have been able to change their environment, change their habits, turn stuff around and stick with it. So that's a big one. And that's why I want you to basically find your diet. Is it the low carb diet? Is it low fat diet? Is it, is it the Mediterranean diet? Is it the Pisco vegetarian? Find it, okay? Stick with it and eat clean. Drop the processed foods. Drop the simple sugars. Drop the simple carbs. And we've started our road on health, well-being, and longevity. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode.